By the end of this video, you will learn about more than 26 business immigration programs for Canada. Now, before you think these are not for you, wait, these programs are not just for business owners, but they're also for managers and people with specialized knowledge. If you've been trying to immigrate to Canada through express entry and you've been unsuccessful so far, one of these programs could be your best alternative. Hi, my name is Rashid Ali. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I'm based in Canada. If you're not familiar with the Canadian immigration system, you might think it's pretty straightforward. Over the years, you might have seen your relatives or friends who immigrated to Canada. They submitted their application, waited for a few years, and ta-da, one day they just left and came to Canada. And it used to be quite simple, but with the introduction of the express entry system and the comprehensive ranking system, with a scale of 1200 points, the system became much more competitive. The express entry system favored those people who had a master's degree, who were young, who had good command of English or French, and had at least 3 years of work experience. But in the recent past, the scores have been soaring even higher, and even people with these profiles are having a hard time immigrating to Canada. That's why you have to think out of the box. If you've heard about Canadian immigration, you've heard about express entry, you might even have created an express entry profile, but some of you might be successful while others might still be waiting in the pool. And if you've been waiting for quite some time, don't give up on your Canadian dream just yet. There are some amazing options for you to immigrate to Canada. There are ways to boost your express entry score, and then there are separate programs, standalone business immigration programs that you can use. So what options do you have? To examine this, let's look at the Canadian immigration system from a 30,000 feet view. Canada plans to welcome 340,000 permanent residents in 2020. And these permanent residents are divided into 4 major classes: the economic class, the family class, the refugee class, and the humanitarian class. As the name suggests, family class is for sponsoring family members, refugee class is for refugees, humanitarian class is for special cases, and the number of humanitarian class is just too small, 4,500. So the main immigration class for Canada is the economic class, where Canada plans to welcome 196,000 immigrants in this year, in 2020. So what is economic class? Economic class means a class of people who can immigrate to Canada based on their ability to become economically established in Canada. That's just a fancy way of saying people who can find a job or give a job, people who can be either an employee or become an employer. That's the economic class. Within the economic class, we have 6 major categories. The express entry system, which includes the Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Skilled Trades Program, and the Canadian Experience class. We have the Provincial and Territorial Nominee programs. We have the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. We also have some pilot programs such as those for caregivers, for people in the agricultural field, and the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. There is a class of people. We also have QUEBEC programs, and finally we have the Federal Startup Program and the Federal Self-Employed Program. But within these 6 classes, express entry and provincial nominee programs are the biggest ones. Are you confused yet? You must be wondering, where are the business immigration programs? So the business immigration programs are linked with some of the programs that I already described: express entry, provincial nominee program, the QUEBEC programs, as well as the Federal Startup and Self-Employed program. See, some of the business immigration programs give you up to 200 points that you can use with your express entry application, while other programs are standalone, like the provincial business programs, where you don't really need to come through express entry. You can just apply for business immigration through the provinces. That's why business immigration programs are worth checking out. Before we get into the details of what these programs are, let me share on a high level who these are for. First of all, they are for business owners and business managers who have significant net worth and enough amount of funds to invest in their business in Canada. They're also for managers and people with specialized knowledge whose foreign company is willing to transfer them to Canada. Finally, they're also for artists, athletes, and farmers. If I go into the details of all of these programs in this video, it will take me hours. So I will upload more videos covering each of these programs and share more information with you. So please consider subscribing to the channel. That really helps me. That gives me an indication that you want to see more videos. If you want to stay updated, click on the bell icon so you can get a notification as soon as I upload a video. Finally, if you get some value from this video, please hit the like button so I know it was beneficial for you. So here are the business immigration programs for Canada. Number 1, the Owner Operator LMIA. LMIA stands for Labor Market Impact Assessment. This is a way to get 50 to 200 points by giving yourself a job offer. In this program, you either buy a business or you start a business where you have at least 50.1% ownership. Number 2, intra-company transfer or ICT. This program gives international companies an opportunity to transfer their employees to Canada, and once those employees work in Canada for a period of 1 year, they can claim up to 200 points for express entry. Now, not everyone will get 200 points. That depends on the nature of their job. Number 3, Federal Startup Visa Program. This program allows international startups with up to 5 team members to immigrate to Canada along with their families. Number 4, Federal Self-Employed Program. This program is designed for self-employed artists and athletes who are well known in their field. These first 4 programs that I just described were federal. Now I'll talk about 16 provincial and territorial programs. These programs have a number of requirements, but I'll focus on 3 main requirements: experience, net worth, and the minimum amount you need to invest. These provincial programs also change quite frequently, but if there's any major change, I will make a video about it. Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program Entrepreneur Stream. This is Ontario's entrepreneur program. This is for managers or business owners who have a net worth of at least $400,000 to $800,000 and who can invest from $200,000 to $400,000 in their business depending on the location. Now let's travel west from Ontario to Manitoba. Manitoba's entrepreneur program, you need to have a net worth of at least $500,000 and you need to invest at least $150,000 to $250,000. You also need to be a business manager or a business owner. Number 7, Manitoba PNP, the Farm Investor Pathway. You need to have at least 3 years of experience in farm management with a net worth of at least $500,000. And you need to make an investment of at least $300,000 in rural Manitoba. So Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, agriculture is a big industry in these 3 provinces. That's why all of these provinces have at least one program which is related to farmers. Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, SINP, the Entrepreneur Stream. You need to have at least 3 years of business management or ownership experience with a net worth of at least $500,000, and your investment needs to be from $200,000 to $300,000 depending upon the location in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, Farm Owner. You need to have relevant farming experience with a net worth of at least $500,000. You also need to make a cash deposit of $75,000, which is refundable. If you go to the west end of Canada, we have British Columbia, and British Columbia has 3 entrepreneur-related programs. First of all, BC-PNP, Entrepreneur in Immigration Stream, the base category. In order to qualify for this category, you need to have at least 3 years of business ownership or management experience with a net worth of at least $600,000, and you need to make a minimum investment of $200,000 in your business in British Columbia. British Columbia PNP Entrepreneur Stream, the regional pilot. In this program, you need to have at least 3 years of experience as a business owner or manager, but your net worth needs to be $300,000 unlike $600,000 for the base category, and also you need to make a minimum investment of $100,000 instead of $200,000 like the base category. But an important part of this program is that you need a referral from one of the regional communities of British Columbia, because that's where you will be starting your business. Alberta Self-Employed Farmer Stream. You need to have farm management experience with a net worth of at least 500,000 Canadian dollars, and a financial institution should be willing to finance your farm business. Are you keeping count? Number 14, New Brunswick Provincial Nominee Program, Entrepreneur Stream. You need to have 3 to 5 years of business ownership or management experience with a net worth of at least $600,000, and the minimum investment is $250,000. Number 15, New Brunswick Provincial Nominee Program, Postgraduate Entrepreneur Stream. If you are an international student who graduated from a post-secondary institution within New Brunswick and you've been running your business with 100% ownership for at least a year, you can be eligible for this program. The good part about this program is there is no black and white written requirement for minimum net worth or minimum investment, but you do need to have 100% ownership in the business. Number 16, Nova Scotia Nominee Program, the Entrepreneur Stream. You need to have 3 to 5 years of business management or ownership experience with a net worth of at least $600,000, and you need to make an investment of at least $150,000 in your business. Nova Scotia Nominee Program, International Graduate Entrepreneur Stream. So just like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia also has a program for international students who've graduated from Nova Scotia from a post-secondary institution who've owned a business within Nova Scotia for at least a year with 100% ownership. Number 18, Prince Edward Island Nominee Program, Work Permit Stream. You need to have business management experience with a net worth of at least $600,000 to qualify for this program. Now number 19 and number 20 are the programs related to the 2 territories of Canada, Northwest Territories and Yukon. For the Northwest Territories Entrepreneur Program, you need to have a net worth of at least $250,000 to $500,000, and you need to invest from $150,000 to $300,000 depending on your location. YUKON Business Nominee Program. You need to have at least 3 years of business ownership or management experience and 5 years of work experience that is specific to the type of business you want to start in YUKON. Also, you need to have a net worth of at least 500,000 Canadian dollars and you need to invest at least 300,000 Canadian dollars for your business in YUKON. One key thing to remember about the provincial or territorial business programs or even their skilled immigration programs is that you need to stay in that province. If you spend some time in the province and due to some reason you're not successful and you have to move to another part of Canada, that is acceptable because you're a permanent resident. Once you're a permanent resident, in fact, you can move to any part of Canada. But if you do not intend on living in that particular province, you should not misrepresent yourself. You shouldn't apply to that province if your intention is not to stay there. The next 3 programs are related to international treaties between Canada and other countries. The first one is NAFTA. NAFTA is the North American Free Trade Agreement, which is between Canada, US and Mexico, the North American countries. And this allows the citizens of US and Mexico to move to Canada through intra-company transfer or as an investor. Again, by moving to Canada, gaining work experience within Canada, they can claim up to 200 points for their skilled immigration application. Number 22, the Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement between Canada and the European Union. This is quite similar to NAFTA, where you can transfer to Canada if your employer chooses to do so and gain Canadian work experience, claim those points for your express entry application. Number 23, Canada-Chile Free Trade Agreement. The citizens of Chile can also move to Canada through an intra-company transfer. The Chilean nationals can also move to Canada similar to NAFTA through this agreement. Number 24, 5 and 6. Our last 3 programs are related to Quebec, which is a French-speaking province in Canada. If you are a francophone and you speak French fluently, these 3 programs can be a very good option for you. Number 24 is the Quebec Investor Program. This is the only program in Canada which allows you to make a passive investment and get Canadian permanent residence through it. For all other business programs, you have to be active. You have to stay in that particular province. You have to stay within Canada and manage your business actively. But for the Quebec Investor Program, the way it works is you give the government of Quebec a loan of 1.2 million Canadian dollars for a period of 5 years. After 5 years, this loan is returned to you without any interest. You get your 1.2 million back, and within this process, you get your Canadian permanent residence. You also need to have a net worth of at least 2 million Canadian dollars. This is the highest net worth requirement for any business program within Canada. Again, this is a passive investment scheme. You do not need to live in Canada. In fact, you won't be able to live in Canada until those 5 years pass, until you get your permanent residence. And currently, the processing time for this program is up to 7 years. This program isn't open throughout the year. It opens and closes, and I'll share more update when the program opens up in 2020. Number 25, the Quebec Entrepreneur Program. This program is again well suited for francophones, people who speak French. This program is ideal for those who want to start a business in Quebec and who fulfill one of 2 conditions. They either have a support from a business incubator within Quebec, or they have a net worth of at least 900,000 Canadian dollars and they're willing to invest at least 300,000 Canadian dollars for their business in Quebec. The final program is the Quebec Self-Employed Program. This is for francophone applicants who want to be self-employed in Quebec. If you are a skilled trades professional and you're looking to work in Quebec, this program could be ideal for you. So that's it. These were the 26 business immigration programs for Canada. In the next videos, I will share more details about these programs in future videos. If you want to watch those videos, do subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time.